Hi, we're at my desk, and the purpose of this video is to talk about joysticks and maybe a little bit about buttons. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because there's a lot of people that want to upgrade their joysticks in arcade one-up cabinets. And the real question is, what do you upgrade, or what should you buy, or what should you put into the cabinet? And what I have here is a industrial Lorenzo joystick, and here I have a Happ joystick, and they look pretty much the same. The joysticks are actually different heights. This one is set at a lower height because there's different notches in this joystick that will let you set it at different heights. If it's set at the maximum height, which I don't have the spacer for, I don't know how I lost it, but it's a longer joystick. It'll be higher when you set at the maximum distance. But I set it at a slightly shorter one. So like this would probably be for a metal control panel where there's no wood or no thickness to it, so that it rides at a different height. But you'll notice that the actuator is ABS. It's because this is the Happ clone of the Ultimate. If this was white, it would be basically the European made one, like or the other factory. I don't know actually who makes the Ultimate. I don't know if Industrial Lorenzo. Here there's an IL molded into the body here, and you see the nylon spacer. So some of these are black, and that's if you bought it from Happ, because Happ doesn't source from Industrial Lorenzo anymore. You notice that the joystick shaft is thicker on the IL one, and the bottom of the base is more round here, whereas this one has a kind of a square body in here. It seems the same for most people naked eye, but once you play on it, this one, it feels more square. What we call the gate, this area here, how the joystick rides in, you'll feel the diagonals, hard diagonals on this one, whereas the IL stick, it feels more round. I mean, there are hard diagonals, but when you go around, it just feels rounder, so it's smoother for some actions. This is a joystick out of the Arcade one-up, and at different points they use different joystick manufacturers, and they go through different things, and they have a clear gate here where this one's black. I don't have a Sanwa. I seem to have put them into all my cabinets. But here I have a clone of a Sanwa, and I think on Amazon it was EG Starts is the guy I got it off of Amazon, or the manufacturer or the distributor, I don't really know. And the way you can kind of tell is EG Starts, it even says Sanwa on part of this, so they're really trying to clone it. But the harness that fits into there is this plug type, whereas the Sanwa, the harness will plug in sideways. It has a retaining clip on the top of it, so it'll clip in from the side. So that's how you can tell the Sanwa from this clone type, and it actually works fine, and it's really just like the Sanwa. The other thing I want to show about this, and the reason why I think it's good to upgrade to the Sanwa, is if you want to use a different gate. If you look at this gate, it's very square. There's a square gate, so there's 4 points. And this one is octagonal, has a little yellow center to it. and that it feels more round when you go in there. So a trick that people don't really know about Sanwas and this little gate here is if you take it off, the little center is actually something that you can rotate. You can actually push it from the back and then rotate the centerpiece. Let me see if I can get this going. Yeah, rotating it. So I rotated it actually 45 degrees. And if I put this gate back in, the corners are actually now in the north, south, east, west. So now this gate is actually kind of shaped in a diamond, and now it's a four-way joystick. So you can't hit the diagonals, but you can hit the hard north, south, east, or west. So the up, down, left, right are now in the hard corners because I rotated that. So now this is a four-way joystick. So if you wanted to take your Sanwa type and make it a hard four-way, and this is for like a dedicated Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, it'll play better in that sense. So a joystick is made up of 4 different switches, and if you activate 2 of them at the same time, you have a diagonal. So that's how your device knows that you're going diagonal, is that 2 of them are activated at the same time. That's how you kind of choose them. These are originally designed for metal control panels or very thin type. But this EG Starts actually has a longer joystick than the exact Sanwa type. So they're keeping in mind that you're putting it in a very thin wooden control panel, like the Arcade 1-Up control panels. Usually most cabinet builders would use like not a 1/2 inch control panel, but a 3/4 inch control panel, because that's what these are kind of designed for, with the long joysticks. So you mount it into a wood control panel. I don't have an example of a Happ Super. It'd take too long to rip it out of a cabinet. But so let's talk about switches. Now, the switches that go into a joystick are usually of this type of micro switch, and I have 2 examples. I think they're both made by Cherry. I don't see the logo for Cherry. The white Cherry are ones that I'm more used to, and this feels, and it's not a hard, heavy click like some of the other ones. So these are nice Cherry switches, and so they'll fit into a long button. And then the Sanwa use a different type of micro switch. Some of the Chinese clones of Sanwa. This is an actual Sanwa, and this one doesn't even have a click. It's very soft, and the action is very fast. It depresses at a quick motion, whereas the Happ ones that mount into a wooden control panel, they have a little bit longer of throw. So the Sanwa, I feel, are a little bit faster. So my meter is set to continuity. So when the circuit is complete, it rings. So people wonder why there are 3 tabs on a switch. And if you ever look at schematics, the schematic for a switch is this symbol here, where you can see the switch was open or closed, and it's open, so that's what the symbol of a switch is. And you'll see that usually the top piece here is what they call common, or COM. And then the other side, the further side, will be the symbol where it's closed. So they would say that that's normally closed. So if I touch these 2, the circuit is normally closed. So there it is. But if you hit the switch, it breaks the contact, so it's now open. But that's NC, or normally closed. The top one will be normally open, But if you depress it, it's closed now because it's normally open, and then by hitting the switch, it's closed. And that's what these do. You can tell by this one, there is no 3, there's just 2 pins. Because why would you have it normally open? I mean, normally closed. So that's what switches do. That's how they work. That's how, if there's just 2, it's going to be normally open, and then you hit the switch and it closes. Like if you look at this joystick right here, it actually has only 2 pins. But this, you don't actually solder it to these, you actually wire in a harness. And so this is assuming that there's I guess a socket or a connector for the other end of this. In the Sanwa, they give you a harness because they expect that you're wiring it in. So you'll see that there's 5 wires on here, and so there's just one common, which is the black, and then these 4 wires are all the different directions. So you would actually take a meter and you figure out which one is which one's going to where, and it's going to be in a circle. So if you actually ever wire just in a ring and you do it wrong, you can actually take out the gate and then pull out the PCB and just rotate it because you're 90 degrees off, and you can actually correct the direction that you miswired this in.